If you're a CPA, financial advisor, attorney, some other type of consultant, then this is the marketing funnel that is going to get you your next $50,000 a month or more. This is a super simple funnel that a ton of gurus and online coaches are using, but really nobody is taking advantage of this in the professional service space. As ad costs continue to rise and organic content gets more and more saturated, it's getting harder and harder to stand out online. But this funnel solves both of those problems, especially in industries like yours that are dominated by dinosaurs. If you don't know who I am, my name is Peter Vanderwall, and I run a marketing consulting company called Social Club Studios. We've helped CPAs, financial advisors, and a few other types of consultants scale their firms through a really predictable customer acquisition strategy so they don't have to worry about where their next client is coming from, and they can get past that six-figure ceiling and make those big bucks that they got into business for in the first place. Now this right here is the funnel that has generated 1,000 real followers for my personal brand just in the last month, 1,500 plus for a CPA client that I'm working with. And to be clear, these are very niche concentrated followers. We're not getting attention from just anybody and everybody. A very high volume of these followers are actual leads who would be qualified buyers for these businesses. And this funnel ultimately is helping a number of clients scale from low 6 to high 6 and even 7 figures in their business. So let me walk you through this funnel, each stage, and kind of how it works. Now in any marketing funnel, there's essentially 3 stages, right? You can look at it as top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. And so top of funnel is designed to gather that initial attention from our client avatar or our target audience. There's no ask, there's no call to action, just providing free value and trying to get them to pay attention to us. So in this case, we like to run ads for top of funnel, and I'll show you a couple of ad creatives here that we're using just so you get an idea of what we're actually doing with that. If you're a CPA, you know there's a cap on how many clients you can consult with one-on-one. And for those of you who are really good, you're probably getting close to that cap pretty quickly. You're making a couple hundred grand, you're working a ton of hours, but you kind of want more. You're not content with running the same exact business as the next guy. Here's the thing, you don't actually have to. I personally helped Ryan, a real estate CPA and tax consultant, take his business from just a glorified 9-to-5 to an absolute money printing machine. He's coming up on $1 million run rate, working on average less than 30 hours a week. If you want to learn how to achieve these exact results for yourself, then I want you to give me a follow and go through some of my past content. I'm talking about how to scale your service business from 6 to 7 figures, and I'm giving away strategies my clients are paying tens of thousands of dollars for.
Short-term rental investors, if this market downturn that we're experiencing scares you, I want you to watch the next 30 seconds carefully. You probably think to survive this downturn, you need to cut expenses, put in a hot tub, or hire a designer to theme your place out. But in reality, the answer is pretty simple. It's tax strategy. What you might not know is short-term rentals are one of the most tax-advantaged asset classes out there. And most CPAs think they know how to handle short-term rentals, but in reality, they're treating it just like another passive investment, which we all know is completely wrong. That means that you need to educate yourself on tax strategy, so you can ask the right questions and not blindly trust your CPA to handle those things for you. Shoot me a follow here on Instagram if you want to make confident tax decisions for yourself. And go through some of my past content where I share the strategies that save my clients tens of thousands of dollars.
The first one is one of my own personal ad creatives that I've been using to get followers who are CPAs or other types of accountants. And the second ad creative is one of my clients, Learn Like a CPA. He's a tax consultant who specializes in real estate investors. So he's trying to get more short-term rental followers into his audience. You can kind of explain that solution, give it a bit more information and a bit more context. And then finally, the call to action at the end, the ask that we're making is just follow me for more free value just like this. We're attacking limiting beliefs that they hold around that problem and then presenting a solution to it. You can kind of explain that solution, give it a bit more information and a bit more context. And then finally, the call to action at the end, the ask that we're making is just follow me for more free value just like this. Now our end goal with this funnel is for people to be thinking, wow, I got so much free value from this person. I can't imagine how much more value I'd be getting if I was to pay them for their services. And so this ad is designed to kind of kickstart that snowball and get it rolling down the hill. And if you want to know more about top of funnel specifically, go check out my YouTube channel. There's a quick video there going over my whole top of funnel framework. Now the next step of this funnel is middle of funnel. And you can see here there's a few different types of assets that we're using for middle of funnel. Now our primary is our organic Instagram content. So now that people are following us from these top of funnel ads, every time we post a video on Instagram, it's going to get in front of a percentage of those followers. Might not be all of them every single time, but regardless, they're going to start seeing you in their feed on a regular basis. We're just trying to capitalize on the attention we grabbed with those top of funnel ads and continue nurturing that audience. Within this middle of funnel, we're trying to build a belief in the audience that A, you understand their problems, maybe even better than they do. B, you understand their dream outcome or the place they'd like to be instead. And C, you understand the roadmap. You have the blueprint to get them from point A to point B. So you're almost pre-selling in this stage. Now, in this case, we're primarily using organic content for our middle of funnel. So that's Instagram Reels, Instagram Stories, and then I highly suggest including a long form outlet like a YouTube channel or a podcast in there, because that just dramatically extends the amount of time somebody's spending with you. For example, if you release a short video every day, let's say your audience on average watches every other short video you put out on Instagram, but you release a weekly podcast, they're going to be spending way more time with you by listening to the podcast than if they were just watching these shorts every couple of days. And so ultimately that just accelerates that trust building process. Now, a couple tips for your organic content here. Number one, you want to stay niche. A lot of the organic gurus are going to tell you to talk about these broader topics, but we're trying to nurture a specific audience. We're not trying to go wide. We don't need to go viral. These videos do not need to be fancy, although that is a plus if you can make them fancy, but instead focus on the actual value of the content. Is it super applicable? Is it super easy to understand? Are you breaking it down into digestible pieces? Think along these lines before you think along the lines of fancy edits or expensive camera equipment. Again, your priority here is to be on message. You want to say the same thing 1,000 different ways in your content. And that's how you're going to hammer home with your audience that you really are the person who's equipped to get them from point A of that problem state they're currently in to point B, that dream outcome that they'd like to experience one day. And finally, a lot of people neglect this for their middle of funnel, but I would post a few Instagram stories every single day, regardless of whatever else you're putting out there in terms of content. Instagram stories with client wins, behind the scenes on your business, maybe some personal stuff sprinkled in there. You can post, hey, I just uploaded a new YouTube video. Here's why you should go watch it. These types of things, it's just a more intimate experience because the stories expire after 24 hours. There's a sense of built-in urgency, and it's an entirely different feel for the audience to go through your stories than it is to watch a podcast, watch a YouTube video, watch an Instagram reel, etc. At this point, we've given away so much value and we've presented an offer that's so good, your ideal client should feel stupid not to work with you. Now, at first, this is just going to mean DMing people that interact with you, people who follow you from your top of funnel ads, people who engage with your stories, people who comment on your videos, and you're basically just going to start a conversation with them to find out if they're a qualified prospect. If they are, kind of dig into their problem state, dig into where they'd like to be instead, and then you can either get them on a sales call, or if you're feeling super ambitious, you can try to DM close them. Now, as you scale, your ads get better, your content gets better, your audience grows larger. You'll also be able to hire an appointment setter who's going to actually do these DM conversations for you and just book sales calls for you. But starting out, I always recommend that you do this for yourself. And the reasons for that is, number one, I want you to be able to pay your appointment setter really well. And you don't have the budget to do that if you're only making $5 or $10K a month. And number two, by having these conversations yourself, you're getting a really good pulse on what type of people are following you, whether your ads are effective, whether your content is nurturing people the right way. And it just gives you a really clear direction on whether you're attracting the right people or not. Okay, that is literally it. There's a lot of things we can add on to this funnel kind of on the side here and there as we grow. But in order to start getting clients on Instagram for your professional service business, your consulting firm, whatever you're doing, this is literally all it takes. And if you own a consulting firm, you're making over 10K a month and you're ready to make those big bucks you got into business for in the first place, then I want you to book a call in the description below. You can ask any specific questions you want. I'll kind of get a sense of where your business is at. And if the program makes sense for you at the end, we can get you enrolled right there.